first time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking these days as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you could never really know what's up next.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next, postwrestling.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever podcast app you use. And of course,
Twitch.tv/upnextpodcast podcast and YouTube.com/upnext. Hello, Twitch and YouTube room.
yes, hello, anybody hanging out with us. We watched some NXT tonight, and then we're going to talk all about it here today. And you know why? It's because we are your NXT friends. We'll always be your NXT friends. If it's black and gold, if it's
Gold and white, if it's multicolored,
yeah,
anything.
doesn't matter. We're
Full Sail, arenas, wherever.
Yeah.
CWC.
yeah, knock knock.
Who's there?
Braden and Davie, and we'll always be there for
We'll
you.
always be there for you. Yeah, it's been a while since we've done this. 'Cause
Yeah.
last week you had Chris Walder on the show.
Yeah, shout out Chris. That was a great show. Everyone, hopefully you already listened to that week, but he was a fantastic guest. We definitely got to do some podcasts with him again in the near future.
Sure. Yeah. And then BD Elite last week. I did
Yeah.
it with Dickie Encino live in New York.
I know.
Well, the show wasn't live, but
Yeah.
we were alive in New York just about.
Somehow.
Just about.
You
I don't
barely
know.
came back.
I barely made it back, but
Yeah.
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 Shout out Dickie, who's literally in the room right now.
Yeah, he's on our couch over there,
Right there.
chilling out.
Yeah. I was hoping for an audio there.
Well, I do.
There we go.
I think he's Australian or something.
Yeah.
I can't understand him. Yeah, so we have, you were in New York last week. You got to meet up with a lot of our listeners. You had your event at Cheap Shots. You got to
Cheap shots?
Cheap Shots.
Cheap
It
Shots.
feels like I've had a few shots, which I haven't right now, I swear.
Yeah.
But Cheap Shots.
Shout out the cum shot and the sexy bitch. They were personal favorites of mine.
Oh, does that have anything to do with the bar?
No. Only $3. Yeah, great establishment. Shout out Chris, who was pouring our drinks. The lovely Chris. Yeah, had a great time.
Excellent. So you got to meet some of our hooligans out there, and one of them you brought one home with us. So
Just about. Yeah.
which is always fun. So Dickie's done a lot of stuff for us and become one of our boys. So it's great to hang out with him. I was more sad about missing the hangs with the boys than more so than the wrestling. But we'll chat all about some Dynamite and everything tomorrow night, because we will be going live again tomorrow night for BD Elite. So look for that show. We'll be chatting all about Dynamite and stuff. So yeah, you're back from New York.
I am.
You survived.
Yeah.
You all right?
I'm good. I'm a little like, it could be worse, but yeah, I got a little bit of cold on the way back. It was we had, if you follow my socials, we had a bit of a nightmare with our Airbnb. You thought WH had it bad with his hidden $6 fee and his towels that weren't replaced and his mini bar and all that. Well, our 2-bedroom apartment for 4 people happened to be a 1-bedroom apartment with 1 bed and the rest of the rooms padlocked shut, and
no shower.
And no shower that worked. And when we tried to get in contact with our host, she promised us a mattress the next day. So we thought, you know what? We're both cool guys. We'll be like, sure, one of us will slum it this night. Shout out Dickie, who's had bad knees ever since, sleeping on the floor.
Shout out bad knees.
And then we completely lost contact with our host, and she never sent that thing. Luckily, we did get we got a full refund and got new accommodation, but you know, accommodation in New York's expensive, especially at a weekend day of. So our full refund pretty much covered the 2 other nights we were meant to be there. So that definitely kind of brought the trip down a notch, but still had a great time. Went to some shows, went to the wrestling, went to a comedy show, saw some friends. Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I remember going last year, and had the more fun we had was just kind of hanging with friends and doing stuff. So I did feel FOMO of that, but
I feel I'm kind of done with Grand Slam now. At least if they keep it in this like 10-hour format that they had last week.
16-hour.
Yeah, it was long and did kind of beat me up a bit. Maybe, I don't know, this time next year another match is announced, perhaps. But I'm kind of good with Grand Slam now. But I love New York. I'd happily go back to New York anytime.
Got to do what's you've done a WrestleMania. What else is like? Would you do a Wrestle Kingdom? Would you do a Triple Mania? Would you?
I'd like to do Triple Mania seems to be every month now, doesn't it?
Yeah, let's just plan a trip to Mexico.
I don't want to go to Mexico in the winter.
Yeah.
That's kind of my next trip I'm planning.
Yeah.
And so if there's some, maybe not a Triple Mania, but any kind of lucha that's on while I'm there, I'd love to see that. Wrestle Kingdom, I absolutely want to go to Japan. It's definitely bucket list stuff. But I can't say I'm interested in New Japan
any of the stuff,
whatsoever right now. Dickie was trying to get me to stay up to watch some tag team dog cage match, but I was good. I feel okay missing that.
I've shown a few friends now the Jun Kasai Despy match, and I still can't get over that one, even though it wasn't really New Japan. Kind of, it's on New Japan World, but I wasn't feeling the wrestling as much as I was last year. That's kind of why I didn't really want to do this trip. But AEW's in the mud.
Well, it's an interesting time because, definitely, I feel my interest in the main roster is more than it's been for
years,
a long time, and that's something we've been saying repeatedly on this show about how I want something to happen to pull me back.
Well, why wouldn't I like Raw, Davie? Because when I watch Raw, it's just NXT from a few years ago.
It's
Kevin Owens.
It's literally
Seth,
NXT plus The Miz.
Gargano.
That is it. That is literally... I watched it... I was going to say NXT.
Yeah.
I watched Raw last night. It was NXT and The Miz.
Yeah.
In Edmonton.
It's an Edge.
And Edge, sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Candice LeRae now showing up on Raw, which is totally awesome.
What's with the Garganos and picking Canada for their debuts?
They must be honorary Canadians at this point. Yeah, that's super rad. The wrestling family, the way, and all that stuff. I can't wait to see where that goes. She is an incredible talent.
She's awesome.
And I can't wait.
Definitely bolsters that division.
Yeah, like people will see real quick like how good she will make other people look too, especially. But yeah, super excited about that. Panda Express, Johnny and Kevin Owens teaming up again. I'm like, this is crazy. What's going on?
That's cool.
Triple H running stuff is just already like great. And on top of that, I mean, sorry, Raw was good, but the Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, Uso, honorary Us shirt reveal thing, that whole segment was one of the best segments in years.
So we were in a bar right next to our hotel in Times Square called Pasta Lovers.
Nice.
And we had a brilliant, authentic Italian bartender from Mexico called Juan Carlos, who was making us espresso martinis.
Nice.
And we were the only ones at the bar. He was flicking through the channels, and we were like, "Oh, do you mind just putting SmackDown on?" And he was like, "Yeah, you want this?" We went, "Yeah, we do." So we watched that whole 20-minute segment.
Yeah.
Like, no sound, and it was still incredible. Like you could, everyone, you could tell from their faces. You knew the story that was going on.
Yeah.
You knew that Jay hates Sammy. You knew Sammy was kind of like fearing for his life at one point, and then realized he's been accepted in the family. Jimmy's little handshake thing he's got going.
My dog.
It was such a brilliant segment, and Sami Zayn is just killing it right
Sami
now.
Zayn is not getting the credit because I just keep thinking back to that Jackass match and how he stole that whole show, that whole weekend, and then now he's just
I feel that got the ball rolling for this. They were like, if you could make that work,
and he's making this work. I love this.
It's been so entertaining.
And I'm not a huge Roman fan when it comes to the wrestling. I definitely don't get it. I don't usually get into it. But the storyline right now that they're doing is fantastic. And Roman is treated like the ultimate boss, the final boss, the king of this shit, literally.
They look awesome.
Yeah,
there's that
everyone
entrance
looks
of now
great.
Solo's in it as well. Now Paul Heyman's back.
So good, man.
It looks awesome.
And then Sami Zayn is just absolutely killing this role. The My Dog stuff is my favorite. My dog. I like the shirt. We need if Sammy gets an honorary Us shirt, we need to create our own upNXT honorary friend.
Yes.
shirt. PWT.
What's great is it kind of has that Jericho Owens thing where eventually it's coming, where
course.
Sammy's gonna get murdered.
Yeah.
But you don't know when. And it's having as much fun with it as possible until that moment. And when it happens, you fear for Sammy.
Right.
But it's gonna make him I like we were saying, okay, well, if it's not Rock Roman at WrestleMania, I imagine probably Cody returns at the Rumble, wins it, goes, I don't want that anymore.
Yeah,
I want Sami Zayn to win the Rumble, face Roman, and end that reign in the main event. You go from losing to Johnny Knoxville to a year later beating the GOAT, Roman Reigns.
We just want that Sami NXT run back.
We do.
Triple H, run it back. Yeah, I mean, Sami Zayn is an incredible wrestler, but now we know just through all this stuff in the past, all of his WWE career, he's so good at the character and the story and all this stuff, and he's just so funny and so lovable, but then at the same time he's the guy in the bad guy group, but they're still the cool group, you know. So it is, everything is like working on all the cylinders. I would imagine that they kick him out and somehow, you know, he finds a group of friends to maybe face the Bloodline in the War Games.
It's either that or it happens in the War Games.
Sure,
match.
Right, yeah.
You could almost have you could almost have them turn on Sami in the match to get Kevin to forfeit for his team to save his best friend Sami Zayn.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. It would like obviously if you were to book Sami Roman, it would be such a great like story to do, but I don't feel like they would go that route.
I think we'll get the match.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily see WrestleMania and Sami winning, but
Cody.
I think you'll get the match, and I do more than ever see a potential world title reign for a Sami Zayn at some point.
Roman's got to just keep the title for like another 6 months to a year, so he can defend it against CM Punk.
I don't think we're seeing that guy again. I don't want to see that guy again.
Damn. Yeah. Is his contract? Is he done with AEW? Is he gonna wrestle somewhere else? Is he gonna fight?
I can't see how he'd return there.
Yeah.
I don't know who'd want him now. It's very different from when he left last time round, where I think there were some negative things about him, but I think in general people were kind of on his side.
Yeah.
I think this time round, like, you watch that press conference and you hear all the shit that's happened after, like, he just sounds like poison, you know?
Yeah, something like, I think obviously controversy creates cash, and that whole thing, obviously, like a lot of like casual fans, think of like some of our friends who don't really watch, like hear about it and now like are invested, and like the ratings, you know, for AEW the past week are up, I would say, and I think it has something to do with that. People want to know how they handle this and how they can, and I think they have really well at the same time, but it's interesting. But with Triple H running things, it's a never say never kind of thing.
It is.
Like,
it really is.
Triple H, do you still have Kota Ibushi's number? Triple H, you still got Tony Nese's number? You know, like, you know, like he will. This is just still the beginning of this. So like, who knows where it can go in another year.
There've been talks today about like some aesthetic changes. We've got the season premiere of Raw and SmackDown coming up, so I expect maybe new theme song, Poppy, Motorhead,
Motorhead, yeah.
Maybe new set. There's been talks about new belt designs, title designs.
Okay.
So I feel like he's been pretty bullish with some of the changes so far, and we'll see. Like, I imagine, like, from a year from now, the product will look pretty different to how it was, like, say, from like WrestleMania this year. Yeah. Which is pretty exciting. Like, it feels, I like that I'm getting that kind of WWE bug a little bit again. Like, Extreme Rules is coming up in a few weeks. We've got this whole White Rabbit thing going on, and it does have my interest. Which I can't say in the past we've gone, you know, their pay-per-views, like, the matches are normally good, but I can't say I care about stories going into them. That is starting to change.
The White Rabbit stuff is really cool. I think they're doing a really good job. It's definitely a bit creative and feels like fresh for them. They're always too late. Like, they're always like, download tout. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's too late for that. Like, you know, so it is something that feels a bit ahead of the curve for them.
What I quite like is you're seeing stuff that they've kind of tried on NXT and then taken it. Because we had Zoe Stark's return was the whole, like, barcode, QR code thing. Yeah. And obviously they were like, oh, that kind of worked in NXT, and they've taken that and obviously blown it up and made it a lot bigger and more successful. But I like that. Okay, you can see they kind of practiced in developmental, and and maybe that was a
promo.
Maybe that was an idea of, this is something we could potentially do for Bray.
Yeah.
Let's see how this works for Zoe.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like it will be Bray Wyatt. I would still assume there's a tie-in with the Karrion Kross thing, just because he's used that before. So you would imagine that's something he's kind of like, hasn't he used like the Rabbit Tribe?
Well, I did
or something?
see someone like photoshopped a thing of what like Cross and Scarlett, Dexter, Bray, and Braun. You could have
Braun,
like as
as
like a kind of new family.
Yeah,
Wyatt 6, wasn't that?
It's not Malachi Black, so
no.
Yeah, I do. I think it's
although
pretty
there
cool.
was a clue of his
his
lyrics
theme or something. Yeah. I think what they're doing is pretty interesting, and keeping fans like questioning it and talking about it. That's what like good TV shows do, right? Like when you think of, you're talking to your friends or coworkers or whatever about the latest whatever episode of something that's really popular. That's like the water cooler talk, right? And doing something like this, like, okay, well, who could this be? Is like the oldest thing in wrestling that is great, but they've definitely, it's felt like they finally have updated it. Like, I think back to the Save Us Y2J thing. That was one of my favorite things for sure. Like, what a creative way to bring it. Everyone assumed it was him, and then when it was him, you didn't feel let down. So I think that's with
I
Bray.
remember like leading up to like Taz's debut, you had the 13 flashing orange on random shows and things like that.
It's cool.
Yeah, I think the question is with Bray, and this has been the case for his whole WWE run, is like the Firefly Funhouse, all that super creative. How does it then translate to ring?
Right.
And how do we make it work? Because the Fiend didn't work when it came to in-ring stuff. You couldn't have him as this Michael Myers indestructible thing, because it puts you in a box, it corners you, and ends up killing these baby faces. So that's going to be the big challenge, because we know if it is Bray, which I assume it is, we know he's probably got a lot behind this because he is super creative. The challenge will be the next step. Okay, he's then debuted, he's going to start having matches. Where do you put him? I wouldn't put him in the title picture right away, or maybe ever, but it's how will you make him work and continue to work as an in-ring performer? And that's what I'm interested in, like, next.
Yeah. No, I think it could go in a really cool creative thing. And maybe it is a group. Maybe it's not just him. Maybe it is related, or maybe it is just him. But either way, I think it's a pretty creative way, and I love the song. We actually had some gummies yesterday called White Rabbit in Toronto. Some edible gummies, which the name alone sold me, because
How were they?
Dickie had one actually, so I'll have to let you know.
I think he's asleep on the couch.
Yeah, he may have kicked in because he's
great.
on our couch asleep. That like WWE stuff I've not been interested in quite a while, and I am, as a fan now, interested to see like where we can go with Triple H. If we're getting new titles and new looks and stages and different things, like as a new era, as fans, when you use the network, or old people like us use tape trading and DVDs or whatever, like, you look back through the eras of how different things looked in different eras. WWE has not changed in so long, so it does need like kind of a little something that changes.
Well, we had we changed the logo even. You went from that yellow blue block logo to then the scratching WWF, and then you got the F out.
Yeah.
And then it went to kind of network era, which was this clean,
which is this now,
WWE, which we're in now.
Yeah.
Change it.
I think NXT
Skulls.
I mean, the episode of NXT last week and this week is taped. And was there another one too? Maybe. Possibly?
No, I think next week is
Back to Live.
I think it was 2. So I think next week's Back to Live, which I imagine done with the color and that's what I'd assume.
Yeah, I imagine the NXT look comes when we get back to that live episode, and it'll look a lot, maybe a mix of what it used to kind of look like.
I think so. I hope so. And this week, like, I've been a little higher on NXT recently. I did not enjoy this week's show. It definitely felt like a
hangover,
treading water before
a tape
changes.
Show.
It felt like a tape show this week.
We'll jump into some NXT, I swear. I do want to mention also, because my shoot job, I work at a TV station, and we started airing some wrestling.
Okay.
And I wasn't politicking, but I was like, I wish CHCH used to air a lot of wrestling back in the day. So we got a wrestling show, Women of Wrestling, which is back, which is making its rounds. 1 hour a week. It's very like not focused on a lot of the actual like in-ring wrestling, but it's focused on like characters. This whole revamp is only
like
a few
Glow-esque?
weeks. Yeah, like you get a lot of vignettes about the characters, but I find that like they like own the characters. Like the wrestlers I recognize were using different names on the indies, and now are like completely like under a different like name and stuff. But I would say for the first few weeks, it was pretty fun to.
That's
to
kind
watch.
of the Lucha Underground model.
Exactly.
In a way. Yeah.
Like now your name is going to be this, and this is your kind of gimmick. So you get all sorts of like You get there's the Tonga twins. They're pretty much like the Samoan bloodline,
Right.
Uso kind of thing character. That I think they're twins too. Then we got a Glitch. She was good. She's like a gamer or something.
Okay.
There was a girl who raps, who can't rap. So I was like, out of all the people who get the acclaimed gimmick, I don't know if she was the right one to do it. But I would say it was pretty interesting. So by any means, people should.
And
check
AJ
it
is
out.
on commentary. For
And
that,
AJ
right?
Lee is on commentary, so pretty interesting. But any Toronto
Maybe
local
Punk will go there.
on commentary,
Yeah.
they mention him like every episode so far. Like
Interesting.
drop oh,
See
that's
how long that lasts.
yeah. But yeah, any Toronto local, CHCH airs it on Saturdays. But I mean, any wrestling fan, you could find it online and stuff as well. But pretty cool, yeah.
And then we are coming to the end of the month on the Patreon, but we do have some pretty cool shows we'd like to announce. Unfortunately, we have had to change our schedule a little bit this week due to some scheduling conflicts with our world champion.
We do. I mean, world champ patrons, you guys are our pillars, and you guys usually get to pick stuff, and then we do the review, and then we have you on at the end and chat with you a little bit. Well, Howie, who's been a longtime world champ supporting us, when Cobra Kai was getting popular, he picked Karate Kid. We did that. Then he did Karate Kid 2, and now he's picked Karate Kid 3, but he went on vacation, so he's like, guys, I'll have to do this show down the road in a few weeks or something like that. So it's on hold. I just finished Cobra Kai, so I'm caught up.
I've got a lot of catching up to do, but it's a happy accident in a way because we're going to kick off spooky season a little early.
Yeah, I mean,
because we
this is
saw
Yeah.
there's a long anticipated sequel coming out on Disney Plus at the end of the month. So we thought it'd be a good time to revisit the 1993
Oh, baby.
classic Disney Halloween film Hocus Pocus.
Quite possibly the greatest movie ever
All right,
made.
okay.
Yeah, sisters, let's go. Grab the book. We're going to be reviewing. This is crazy because if you've been listening, you know how much I love this movie through the years. I watch it way too many times every Halloween season. So we're finally going to be reviewing it this week. It's going to drop this weekend on our Patreon. But next week, the new one comes out. So that's right. 2 back-to-back weeks of Hocus Pocus. You're going to be
Yes.
out pocused. I'm so excited for this new one. And it just makes sense that we chat a little bit about it. And so 2 weeks of Hocus Pocus.
2 weeks of Hocus Pocus. We've also obviously got our very anticipated Halloween 5 review that will be released on Halloween. It's become a yearly tradition here at
Yes.
upNXT that for free every Halloween we review one of the Halloween films, and we're up to number 5.
Damn.
Very excited for that. We're also going to be joined, detouring
Yeah.
from spooky stuff. We're going to be joined by Karen Peterson for a special episode of Best Match Ever, where it's still up in the air who we're going to talk about. I might actually put it as a Facebook vote.
Okay.
We're either going to be talking about Kairi Sane's stardom run or Io Shirai's stardom run. I don't care either one. It sounds great. But Karen's going to put us a list together for that for us to talk about next week. And then a whole lot of other spooky stuff that will be putting out the schedule very soon.
Yeah, I mean, guys, October 1st is a great time to give us a shot. If you haven't already, it's only $5 for North American tier. You get access to everything that's coming out this month, but you can access everything in that back catalog, all the best matches ever, the What's Next, retro NXT reviews, everything, and it's only $5 a month to access all these shows. And if that's not enough, October is looking so stacked because NXT is doing Halloween Havoc. We thought, why not celebrate the 25th anniversary of Halloween Havoc 1997 featuring, Ray Ray and Eddie Guerrero in one of the most famous matches. So we're super excited. That's also a show that we got coming out. Last year we did The Exorcist, which was a hell of a fun podcast to do. So this year you thought it would be fun to pick The Omen.
It's one of my favorite horror films. Definite similarities to The Exorcist, except now we're talking about a spooky boy instead of a spooky girl. Damien 666, Sign of the Beast. Let's go.
So yeah, guys, check us out on Patreon. If you've never tried us before, but you like us a little bit, hey, why not like us a lot? It's only $5, and start of the new month gives you a whole month to access everything coming out and everything we do. We do a lot of podcasts, and we want you to hear them.
And this could be potentially the last month in this format because changes are on their way. We're working on them, and so we're going out with a bang with this spooky season.
Yeah, upNXT isn't going anywhere. It'll still be a show, but we definitely are making some changes, and you might get hit with a Poison Rana very, very soon. And that's another quick reminder. I swear we'll get to NXT. I'm sorry.
Nah.
Someone's mad. If you are going to Dynamite in Toronto or Rampage, we are throwing some parties, and that means a Dynamite after party at Sneaky D's in Toronto. Right after Dynamite, we're all going to make our way over to Sneaky D's in Toronto. We're going to have some pro wrestling karaoke. We have some themed wrestling drinks that Davie has as a bartending legend, has concocted.
I had a great shift last week coming up with these. Yeah.
Maybe
they tasted better and better as they went on in the night.
Yeah. We'll maybe tell you some of the recipes in the coming weeks. But yeah, if you are planning on going to Dynamite or Rampage, or maybe you're just in the area and you're not even going to the shows, well, come. It's free. Come to Sneaky D's. Come get lit, drink some drinks, sing some wrestling karaoke, hang out, and it'll be quite a party. But follow the socials at upNXT Podcast on Twitter if you haven't already, and the Facebook group for more stuff. But it's free. There'll be some prizes now. We're working on some things in conjunction with some prizes and all sorts of stuff. Maybe special guests. Who knows? But it's going to be a party in the 6, and we would love to see you there if you're planning on going. And we know a few listeners are planning on coming, and some friends, and we're super fucking excited.
Yeah. It's going to be great. Super looking forward to this.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun little month here. We got friends visiting us. We got AEW on the 12th and the 13th.
12th and 13th.
And then I'm super excited for an indie show, Demand Lucha, which we've talked about for quite a few times. We've been to quite a few times. Their next card, like, I'm probably more hyped for that than AEW, just because they've announced this like 4-way match with our boy Gringo Loco, Commander,
defending champion.
Yeah, and ASF and someone else I'm blanking, but that match already has all my attention. So Demand Lucha on October 20th.
Yeah, they've been killing it. A lot of the, I know Smash has just come back. They did something at, was it Rec Room recently?
Yeah.
Super Kicked have been killing it. It's been pretty hot in the city recently.
Yeah, so go check out Demand Lucha, and we'll be there on the 20th in October, because those guys are just awesome.
The unorthodox Arez, the sensational young ASF, and the breathtaking head-turning Commander challenge Gringo Loco.
This match will be. I'm gonna do so many White Rabbit gummies before this match, because this thing will definitely be worth the price of admission.
Lindsay Dorado.
Damn. Yeah, we got. Maybe we try to sneak an interview with him.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Talk about Izzy's dad.
All right. Yeah.
I'm excited for that. All right, last thing. I swear we'll talk about NXT, but this news definitely had my attention. It's non-wrestling news, but Ryan Reynolds dropping a video on his couch at home in Vancouver somewhere probably, when he says he can't come up with an idea for Deadpool 3. So goes, hey, Hugh Jackman's just walking in his kitchen or something, and he goes, you want to play Wolverine again? Yeah, all right. So Deadpool 3 is going to have Wolverine in it.
Love it.
Fucking hyped for that. This is the first time Deadpool and Wolverine are in the MCU, and it's going to be rated R.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we reviewed Logan way back when. I thought that was the perfect end, but if there's a film to have him back, Deadpool kind of doesn't count in a weird way. It's it's so breaking fourth wall, the way they revealed him. I think that's
the movie should just start with him opening up the thing, yo, wake up.
Yeah.
And that's how it starts. No, I'm excited. No one could play Wolverine without him, and I'm sure Hugh Jackman is going to make a pretty penny off this, but I'm super excited. I don't get too excited about the superhero stuff, but that one instantly has all my attention. Definitely will be a kick-ass, hilarious movie, so can't wait. Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. He has to wear the outfit in the movie.
The yellow and blue?
100%.
I think
he has
so.
to. Even if it's for a gag in the movie, he has to put it on.
I feel as well, he shouldn't even feel the need to work out and get back in Wolverine shape for this.
Just be
normal. It's Deadpool. He can be fat Wolverine if he wants.
He's
jacked anyway.
Huge,
I know. But I know he said in interviews he's hit up The Rock before to know what his diet is,
right.
And he said I love red wine and chocolate. I love it, and I hate this workout regimen I have to go through every time I'm Wolverine. Just relax, you. Yeah. You can just be Tubby in your blue and yellow spandex. It'll be great. We'll love you anyway.
No, I'm excited. That sounds great. Wolverine's the Canadian superhero I can get behind.
Yeah.
Even though he's Australian?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, well, shall we now get into some NXT?
Yeah, we told you we would get to it, and we
about
did.
half an hour in, but it's good. It's good. We'll whiz through this show. There's not a whole lot to talk about. NXT September 27th, 2022 from the Capitol Wrestling Center. This is a taped show, as we mentioned earlier. And we start right as we finished last week with Ilia Draganov coming out. And he says, last time I was in NXT, I conquered an unbeatable machine to become champion. And I walk into this place like it's a coliseum. I suffered, but I conquered and succeeded with the heart of a gladiator. And burning will and perseverance, I became a Tsar because pain has always been my best friend. And I've come back to achieve my destiny, beat an unbeatable machine to claim gold. But this time, his name is not Gunther. It wasn't last time, mate.
Yeah,
either.
it wasn't that either.
His name is Bron Breakker. So Draganov staking his claim, but JD McDonough comes out.
First, just to stop you, I think pain has always been my best friend. Needs to be like on a shirt or something, or maybe not. Maybe people take it the wrong way. But I actually really like this guy's promo, considering we don't see him talk a lot here. This is his first time kind of coming out and being able to speak like this, and he looks like a star. He doesn't dress like no schlum. Like he's got like the black turtleneck with the black blazer over top. This is a fashionable dude,
and he's almost like poetical in his like talking about being a Tsar and like a gladiator in a coliseum and all that. Like
this guy's sick.
Sometimes you hear some people, when like Ronda Rousey uses her big words, it like just sounds weird. It's like, okay, you've sat down with the thesaurus and written this promo.
Yeah.
Draganov, just with the accent, as you said, like the way he's dressed and everything, you believe it. And I thought he sounded awesome here.
Yeah, definitely.
JD McDonough comes out and calls Ilia a sneaky rat. And Ilia says, hey, look, I beat you, forcing you to leave NXT UK. And JD says, yes, well, you may have won the match, but you were so beaten up after that match that you had to vacate and leave anyway. And asks how his broken ankle is, and is kind of doing his look where he's dissecting a body part.
Right.
Like, yeah, I could fuck that up.
I know
again.
that. I know how to hurt that ankle. I know my ankles.
Broken bone, all right. He says, this is not your time, this is my time, so I would stay where you've been the last few months, on the sidelines. If I need to stop you one more time, I swear I'll end your career. And this is where Bron's music hit. He comes out and welcomes Ilia back, but he says that this championship isn't going anywhere. And JD says, well, look, I'm the number one contender here. And the crowd start chanting, triple threat, triple threat. But JD waves that off and says, look, I've earned my shot. We ain't getting any triple threat here. And JD says, look, how about you two face each other for the title, and then I'll pick up the pieces after, and I'll have my match then. And Bron says, look, I'm not as stupid as that. You're number one contender, and he never lost the championship. And if my math is correct, which it always is, you have a 33.3 chance of winning. So let's make this a triple. Holds up the mic to the crowd. They go, threat. I'll see you boys at Halloween Havoc.
Wow. Bron Breakker, what is it, dotting his T's and crossing his I's?
Yep.
Here, I lost my mind here. As it took the crowd a second, it took us a second.
Right.
Wait a second. He just mentioned the word math.
It's finally doing it.
Happening. He's talking about math.
And best time to like bring it in as well. Yeah, this was great.
Bron Breakker doing the Steiner math promo, 5 stars. This was
I actually really enjoyed the top of this show. I thought this segment between these three. I think we've already had the McDonough Bron match, so I'm glad we've got an extra wrinkle in it with Ilia, who I love. I think's brilliant. You can also come away from this this could either be a way to get the title off Bron without him getting pinned if you want to move him up, or you can then have the singles match between Ilia and Bron after this. So I think the match sounds better as a triple threat. I'm actually quite looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I mean, if Bron is still sticking around and not just making the jump or anything, I think it would be him just winning this. It's
Yeah.
clear as day. But I would say out of all the people, because the only person that we thought the past few weeks and months is the only person who could take it from is Carmelo. And now Carmelo doesn't even have that other title and is now still going for that title.
Yeah.
So it is weird that they didn't kind of go that direction, which they still could. So therefore, this could just be like another roadblock there. But I think maybe JD's in the match to take the pin regardless. If it's Braun retaining, it still protects Draganov.
Braun can pin
Yeah.
JD, and then you can go to that singles match if
Because
you wanted.
just from watching Draganov, obviously everyone knows about the two Walter matches back to back years there, but he is just fantastic. He is someone that, like, I know he's on the smaller side, but in today's it does not matter. And like, his
You
promo,
see him wrestle, he's believable.
he's so good. Like, he's someone that I've instantly, like, after these past few years, just someone like I am so excited that he's here on this show on NXT. And I it looks like maybe Shawn and Triple H are pretty behind him as well, and they know he delivers. Like, he could be a real, like, ace up the sleeve with WWE in the next coming. Like, eventually, one day, I picture he's on the main roster, and you have him meet Gunther in a Rumble or something that teases you go back to that eventually. Like, there's so much to do with this guy.
Even
you could have him beat Braun to make him like make this show instantly like the hardcore fans, like the real smarky fans who love the wrestling. If he were to be the champ on this show, instantly you go, okay, I gotta watch that. I gotta check it out. Not dissing Braun, because I think he has done a fantastic job, but he fits WWE's mold of like being that star. He's got the wrestling down pat. Like, see what he can do up on the main roster.
Yep.
But I still think maybe Braun's sticking around for a lot longer.
I think now with the changes, I think in the Vince regime, I could have seen him go like right up. I think now with some of the changes, I think it wouldn't hurt him to stay in NXT.
Yeah.
We've seen how this guy, in just a year, how he's improved match from match.
Yeah.
He could do still with some more seasoning, I think, and be more of a star down in NXT before maybe the time is right for him to go. I like what you're suggesting with Ilia eventually going up.
Yo,
and having,
Ilia Sheamus,
having that
banger.
Yeah. Having that main roster match against Gunther.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this IC title reign Gunther's having, and I think he could hold this for a long, long time.
Sure.
Having Ilia challenge for the IC title against Gunther.
Hell yeah.
Down the line sounds awesome.
Yeah, that would be great
to me.
I thought everyone kind of stood out here. JD, I think, is put in here to be like the fall guy in whatever the outcome it would be. But a triple threat between these three does sound pretty good. And, Draganov's going to bring it. It does still leave room for the one-on-one.
Yes.
Right? You could go to that afterwards. But Draganov is someone like, I just think he's money.
Like, especially, we don't know, they might do a, who knows? They might do an NXT takeover Boston or something like that.
Sure.
With Survivor Series weekend. I doubt they'll be doing War Games because main roster have that.
Yeah.
But Draganov Braun could be main event for that, perhaps.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I'm all for, like, it's definitely instantly a character or wrestler that it makes me like excited to see the main event match in the title picture and everything. I'm all for the House of Draganov.
We go backstage where we see Gallus and Briggs and Jensen getting pulled apart. They just can't keep their hands off each other. And then we go to Mandy Rose, who says, Alba Fire, I know you're watching. Well, Fallon Henley is about to find out what happens when you face me. So put down your bat and take some notes.
Damn.
Yeah. We go to the Schism, who cut a little video promo here on Cameron Grimes, saying... Gacy saying it didn't have to be this way.
This is so shitty, like horror movie bad guy. It didn't have to be this way.
Like cutting between like beatdowns of Grimes and stuff. But to make the world better, we had to make an example of you. Talking about Cameron. And tomorrow you will wake up decimated. As we continue to grow, you will be right back where you started. Alone.
This shit sucks. Oh man, like.
Kill it.
The commercials came back and this was the promo. We looked at each other and we just continued what we were doing and not give a fuck.
I was like eating and then I was like, oh, okay, no, it's back.
I'd rather like
spooky shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't stand it.
Bray's coming back soon, dude. Like, think of something new.
Maybe this is the White Rabbit.
Maybe. Oh God, can you imagine? The whole thing is for his call up. Damn.
For it. The upside down.
I'd laugh.
do you mean? WWE fans would love this guy.
Oh, boy. We go to our next match. Mandy Rose taking on Fallon Henley. And commentary are pointing out that because of the brawl backstage between Gallus and Briggs and Jensen, Fallon doesn't have any support for this match, whereas Mandy has toxic attraction with her. We get a headlock takedown from Fallon. They start running the ropes. Mandy leapfrogs Fallon, but Fallon pulls up and goes for a German suplex, which Mandy blocks. She cartwheels out of the way to evade Henley and then drop kicks her in the face for a 2 count. We then get a bit of a chop exchange between the two. Henley hits this rolling back elbow, like a kind of Judas effect here, followed by a drop kick of her own for a 2 count, and then gets Mandy in the ropes and does the kind of Briggs and Jensen slide under, punch to the face spot. There's a suplex from Mandy for a 2, then applies an abdominal stretch. Mandy then hits her flipping front face suplex thing to Fallon for a 2. Henley starts to fight back. There's another chop and forearm exchange. And then Mandy hits the rose trigger out of nowhere.
Kiss by a rose. That's what she's calling it now. The kiss by a rose.
I'm still calling it the rose
I know,
trigger.
but it is a good name though. Kiss by a rose.
Kiss by a rose.
This one looked great. I mean,
it did.
Fallon was going for her tornado DDT thing, and Mandy throws her forward and then runs at her with it. And this one looked
snug.
Great. Yeah, this one. I didn't really get into the match too much. Mandy Rose in ring doesn't usually get me too invested into it, but I do think she does that knee lift pretty well. And I mean, the person taking it does a lot of it too. But the final sequence of it was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought this was one of Mandy's better matches. I do like Fallon a lot.
She's fantastic.
I think she's really good, and I thought she brought out the better side of Mandy here and totally ate that knee at the end. This was kind of inoffensive to me and definitely on the upper end of Mandy Rose's matches. Still not good enough really for your champion running the brand, but I did think this was a better showing from her.
Yeah.
After the match, Mandy gets on the mic and says, "Alba Fire, I know you're jealous that I conquered 2 continents and captured 2 titles while you are throwing another log on the fire. Well, you may keep the fire going, but I'm the one who starts them." And then we go to Alba, who is on the screen there, and she goes, "You may be women's champion, but I don't do verbal warnings. I'm more of a visual person," as she lights a fire,
and it's on fire,
which says #and new. So she's just...
Is that what she said?
Yeah, it's just... No, the fire said #and
yeah.
new. She's just been playing with...
She's playing with fire.
Yeah, she's playing with fire.
Mandy's playing with fire.
Yeah.
Everything fire. More fire. I think it needs to lead to an Inferno match.
I guess so.
At Halloween Havoc.
Yeah. If you're going to do something... they've done the Ring of Fire match, which is where you just pin them in the ring where the ropes on fire.
That's fine.
I don't know, I feel Alba Fire's gimmick is even Kane, as ridiculous as it was, had some depth to it. With depth might be the wrong word, but there was some more story of why it was fire and why he's Alba Fire. It's just I fucking love fire.
What do you mean? Her ancestors were firefighters or something.
But it's just I just love fire. I just can't get enough fire.
Yeah,
it's just very 2-dimensional for me.
I think you should just go straight to the Inferno match, but it would be dangerous because I feel like
because of the fire.
I feel like if you have hairspray or stuff on, that's really flammable.
Yeah.
So maybe be careful, but yeah, I don't know. Would you want to see an Inferno match between these two? Someone's got to get lit on fire.
Maybe something more like a pole match where you've got to light the top of the pole on fire. That's like a birthday cake.
No, that sounds terrible.
It's all awful. It's all awful.
We didn't start the fire.
But yeah, at least their hair's not gonna. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say I'm big into this Alba Fire gimmick.
This whole storyline should be fired.
Yeah. Well, talking that, we go to Apollo Crews.
Okay, this is so bad it's great.
So we've got another video of Apollo Crews walking around looking
it's out. He's he's in a park. He's writing in a journal.
He's looking at the water. He's writing in his book. He says, "They say vengeance is an act of passion. I say it's an act of justice." I mean, who's saying it's... I don't know. I always thought it was an act of justice. I don't know. Apollo.
I don't know. You ever walk in a park in the middle of the night and you see some guy just writing in his journal, looking out, thinking deeply?
Bellwoods gets weird after hours. Yeah. He says, "Last week Wallace saw what vengeance is. He tried to permanently blur my vision. but last week pointed me in the direction of the North American champion. And then we've got a picture, like an image of Grayson Waller pulling his glasses off, and both his eyes are bloody.
So this is now... So Apollo Crews got his vision back.
Yeah.
He's got his groove back. And he's seeing now... So we see the vision, as we've seen his visions before. But it's Waller who's got 2 bloody eyes. And he's like crying, like, oh, my eyes.
And he says, I'm not done with you, bitch. He did. He ended with, I'm not done with you, bitch.
Oh, man.
Are we going to an eye for an eye match?
What we say this every week, but what's with eyes in wrestling? Why
What's
do we
with
keep
eyes
going?
in wrestling?
Why are we going after people's eyes all the time? Like, wow.
So we're getting an Inferno match, an eye for an eye match. I imagine maybe both this and the women's one will be the spin the wheel, make the deal thing.
Maybe this one will be that.
Yeah.
That sucks. Because this storyline sucks. It's almost like, could we think of something that could be worse, story or gimmick of the year, worse than Joe Gacy and the fucking Spooky Men? I don't know. What about a guy who has visions, but then his eyes get bloody, so then he can't see visions, but then he gets the visions back.
Then he gets the vision back, but we can also see the visions. And
then Grayson Waller later reveals that he also
Grayson
saw the
Waller
vision.
can see the vision.
So he also...
So I mean, I've always said, like, if I could invent one thing,
Yeah.
it would be something that could like DVR my dreams.
That sounds terrifying.
I'd love to do that. Just being able to watch my dreams back. Maybe Apollo's mastered that, and he can have a vision, and then he just like plugs the USB into his.
That's Batman Forever. Remember the Riddler in Batman Forever? The thing you put on your head and it shows your visions in the screen.
Right. Yeah.
That's what Apollo's
it's a
doing.
bit like that Black Mirror.
Yeah.
With Toby Kebbell.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's so hokey.
This is the worst, man. Like poor Apollo Crews coming back to NXT. Like, okay, cool, and then right away gets this like really silly gimmick, and like it's so silly that it makes me laugh, and I love it. But it's really bad.
It's bad.
and the bloody eyes and Grayson Waller like crying.
Maybe it's someone just farted on Waller's pillow.
That's how you get pink eye.
Yeah.
That is how you get pink eye. Yeah, I don't like this at all. It's just so funny because later on Waller reveals that he also saw that on the TV screen. So it's like, oh, you did? You didn't film yourself doing that. And
No.
send it to him or anything. You just saw someone that looked like you?
that would be fucking...
That'd be more scary.
That would be fucking freaky, though.
You saw yourself
like
on
if
the
you
screen?
saw... Yeah.
Yeah, really weird. This gimmick needs to go in the bin for sure. Apollo Crews did not see his future coming back to NXT to do this gimmick because it's not working.
It gets better, guys. Zion Quinn approaches Ilia Draganov backstage.
So Draganov, the guy we've been kind of like oozing over here, saying he's amazing. Okay, what do we do? Well,
Put him with the charisma vacuum, which is Zion Quinn.
Put him in a fantastic match that'll steal the show with Zion Quinn, Mr. Personality here for sure.
So Quinn approaches Ilia, says, I've heard a lot about you, but all that heart for nothing. And he talks about never really having the chance to carry the ball. And he says it's because if people let me carry the ball, no one else would ever get it. And I thought this is where Ilia should have said, oh, you've heard a lot about me. Well, I've heard nothing about you.
I don't know who you are.
But he was way too polite here. He says, I've heard a lot about you too. You have a lot of potential, but mentally you're a moron. And says basically that Quinn will never have the burden of having to carry a title because he's not going to be a champion. Yeah. I thought Ilia was way too soft on this.
Yeah, Ilia could have dug him deep with just saying anything like, I don't know who you are or you're nothing, essentially. But it sets up, a match that we're going to?
A match for later tonight. We go to our next match of the evening. Wes Lee, who comes to the ring with Quinn, the King Crusher Molitor, one of the Connor's Cure survivors here.
This is pretty cool that they do this.
Yeah,
We've talked about this.
It's sweet.
The past few weeks. Yeah, it really is.
And this kid, for some reason, had way better moves than Wes Lee.
Maybe Wes was pulling back.
I think Wes has that Ricochet thing where he should be cool, but he's just not.
No, Wes is cool, right? We've talked about how Wes is cool, but anytime they kind of show him in WWE style vignettes, they do the opposite effect. When I do think like he's cool.
Okay.
I
don't know. I'm not sure.
MSK all day.
Quinn the King Crusher Molitor was really fucking cool. So shout out Quinn. Wes is taking on Tony D'Angelo, and this is a qualifier match for the North American title ladder match at Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, so Wes actually got a buy-in, but he chose to still take the qualifier.
The match.
Which he still gets a buy-in with the outcome of this match. This was an odd one.
Yeah, so there are some nice-looking rolling headlocks from Wes. Trick and Mello shown watching the match backstage. Wes dropkicks Tony out of the ring, goes for a dive, but Stacks gets in the way of the dive. So then Wes hits the dive on Stacks anyway with a plancher. Stacks then is mad that Wes attacked him, so tries to get in the ring, but Tony D's trying to hold him off because he doesn't want to get DQ'd. And this happens like 3 times. Stacks tries to get in and Tony's like, no. And then he tries again, then tries again. Eventually just shoves Wes, and the ref, instead of calling the DQ, just sends Stacks to the back. And then we go to commercial break. When we come back, Tony charges at Wes, who just toe holds him into the corner. And then the ref holds back Wesley. People are checking on Tony D'Angelo. And it appears his knee's messed up. And the referee calls for the stoppage. And Wesley wins.
Yeah.
Via injury. Now, I'm not sure here because there isn't a whole lot I could find online about this injury. Some people were reporting it's legit, but also I haven't really seen enough outlets kind of reporting about it. It seemed odd because quite often when we do see these injuries happen in wrestling, it is usually from something quite minor. Yeah. And this drop toe hold kind of looked like that, and the way it was done. I don't know if this was legit or not.
Yeah, because it looked almost like they were selling that he was knocked out, but then the camera didn't go back.
He was definitely holding the knee.
He was holding
clutching
his knee.
The left knee, and that's that drop toe hold. Which is a pretty mundane, regular move for it to be done on that. But
I think his knee is hurt. Yeah.
It seemed like a legit injury to me.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
Which sucks. But either way, whether shoot or kayfabe, Wesley advances.
He got another buy-in here. Yeah. He didn't even have to win this match.
And really. Wes looked kind of confused and pissed as well.
Yeah, you would always feel. I couldn't imagine being in that spot where you're the person who may or may not have injured them, whether it was an accident or not. I mean, of course it was an accident, but I mean whether it was your fault or not, whatever. But hope Tony D is okay. We're gonna get Tony D now with coming back with a cane. He's gonna be like the guy in The Simpsons.
I mean, it works for MVP. That cane added to MVP. I think Tony D with a cane.
Yeah, like Marlon Brando in The Godfather. A little swag there. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise for Tony D. But I hope he's all right. But Wesley advances in that match.
Could you potentially see anything with Tony being mad at Stacks and potentially kicking him out for the? I mean.
Yeah.
Seeing where we're going with his injury or whatever, because he was like, yo, fucking stop it. Stop trying to ruin my match.
I mean, he should be careful. If he gets rid of Stacks, Stacks might show up in a battle royal in AEW or something. Who knows?
Exactly.
2 times.
We then go to Trick and Mello, who are being interviewed. Mackenzie Mitchell asks Carmelo how he feels about Wesley advancing to the match. And Mello just says, I don't feel anything about Wesley. And he says, maybe you should ask how Wes feels after we slammed his head in the locker last week. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that. Was that a week ago?
That was 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? It was a few weeks
ago. Was it
as
long ago as that?
It was a few weeks ago,
Okay. I was like, Wes seems fine.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have
He's had his head caved in by a locker.
Jeez.
That's when Oro Mensah comes in, and he says he's looking forward to facing them both at Halloween Havoc. And Mello says that he knows who he is, and he likes him, and he could even get him to hang out with them, join him, get him a t-shirt, and hang out a bit. But at Halloween Havoc, it's every man for himself.
Yeah, so he's kind of throwing. I mean, he gave him a compliment, said he liked Mensah's drip, but then almost gave him a backhanded compliment. Yeah, I'll get you a new shirt because he's saying I'm going to beat you essentially. So, that match. These two meeting in the ladder match would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think these two have some good chemistry. Speaking of chemistry, I think our friend Dickie Bird's having chemistry with our couch because he's asleep and snoring.
Yeah.
Over there.
It's all right. This show did it to me too as well today. We get a video package for Sol Ruka saying she debuts next.
Yeah, she's going to test her limits as the tide rises and it's time to come ashore.
Yeah, she's doing cartwheels and backflips on the sand on the beach. And then we have
the best part of
the
show.
highlight of the show. Absolutely, guys.
Yes, boy.
I'm sure this will be put up on the YouTube. Go out of your way and watch this segment. This was fantastic. A day in the life of your NXT Tag Team Champions. Pretty deadly.
Yes, boy.
They're saying, so this is a video package here. They're saying...
They call themselves the tastiest snacks in the whole universe.
The tastiest snacks in the universe. And they say, to have statuesque physiques, most people get up at 4 a.m. in the morning to exercise. As it's showing like the clock hit 4 a.m. and people pumping weights and stuff. But we get up at 10 a.m. for breakfast in bed. And we see them both like in bed handing each other like waffles and eggs
breakfast.
And orange juice and stuff. And we could get a butler to do this for us, but that would just ruin things. And at 11 a.m., we get up and spend hours getting ready to look perfection. And we're just seeing them like
in the mirror,
changing outfits in the mirror. And then they say, so this takes them to 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So 3 hours getting ready. And when it's 2 p.m., then we're ready to work out. But when we work out, we don't use heavy weights. We're not animals. And then we see them just like leapfrogging each other and then doing like just like easy little exercises, but both in tandem. We then spend the next 3 hours to appreciate each other. Yes, boy. Take that as you will. And says, we are the NXT Tag Team Champions, Kit Wilson and Nelson Prince. Pretty deadly. This was so funny.
This was so fucking funny.
This, like, it reminded me, I thought the Maximum Male Models thing they did at the pay-per-view with the water.
Yeah.
Just when performers go head first, all in, no sign of embarrassment about what they're given.
Yeah.
Because some other people could make this so shit.
Sure.
They are 150% invested in this.
Oh my god.
So funny.
Yeah, this was
I love
great.
This.
They're basically like, I don't know, Bert and Ernie. They share the same bed. They feed each other. They said they take care of each other. We don't want a butler because that would just disrupt our utopia in our bedroom. They just keep talking about that. So I don't know if they're trying to gear towards, if they're aiming for Billy and Chuck 2.0, but they're also not saying that isn't the case. I love this.
Either way,
it's
like
so funny.
I don't care.
No,
like if they're a couple, they're a couple. It's awesome. Like
I'm pretty sure they're not actually a couple, but that's besides the point. But
I mean, they definitely led you to think that.
Yeah.
We spent 3 hours to appreciate each other. They have a great relationship, and that's why they're the tag champions.
Yeah, don't be mad because they're happy, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're successful.
Yeah.
No, these guys. We've talked about how much we love the character work and everything, and this was the best best video they've had so far.
So good.
They now feel like the champions here. One critique: it looked like they're doing a ripoff of the scissors. They look like they were doing like the Vader scissor, and they should not do that. No. Don't try to steal something that's hot right now.
The thing I like how most people get up at 4 a.m. They have like this whole morning, like spend hours before they're I get it. Like I'm after we do this show Wednesday, like I don't have to go to work early. I get up and spend about 3 hours before I'm ready to like actually crack down with work. I get it, guys. But also like the stuff in the gym, it's how much do you see like, you know, I mean you see like TikToks like piss taken of it, but you know, usually girls going to the gym and like they've got all their like nice gym gear on, and then they're like setting up the camera, setting up it ready, and then they'll like put water on their face and look sweaty, and then be like, "Oh, hard day at the gym," and then right, time to go.
And these two are just hanging out in their bed.
Oh, so good, so good.
Yeah, I really thought this was like hilarious, and I don't know how they're gonna expect people to treat them as heels because they're amazing. So like, this is a babyface turn for me.
It's definitely they're gonna start getting
yes boy chants and stuff like that.
I think if it's like if they were main roster doing this, they'd be very over very quickly.
Yeah.
Yes
boy. Fantastic
Yes,
stuff.
boy.
The show is over after
Good
this,
stuff.
guys.
Well done,
Yeah,
lads.
this was the best stuff they've done. This was better than any match they've had. Like
Yeah,
this was
100%.
this was so good. Like
100%.
they're so funny in this video that like I now support them 100%.
Yeah.
They're our guys.
Yeah.
Yes,
Good.
boy.
Yes, boy.
Pretty deadly. Put them on the. This should be on the main roster.
Yeah.
This is way better than the male model stuff.
Yeah.
They
I like the male model
They should
stuff
take
as well,
over.
but that's kind of...
They should take over
yeah.
as the main two guys.
We go to our next match. It's the debut of Sol Ruka. She's taking on Amari Miller, who I feel we haven't seen wrestle for a while. Ruka goes for some early pin attempts. Miller catches her leg like a back kick and flips her. Ruka does a forward flip, tries to land on her feet, more lands on her bum, but kind of styles it out. It still looked kind of cool.
And then eventually would do more flips that does land on her feet.
She keeps on doing this like backwards roll handstand thing into this head scissor takedown. I thought looked nice. Then hits an X Factor. Shout out our best match ever, Sean Waltman.
Shout
that
out
came
Sean
out
Waltman.
just a couple of months
Shout
ago.
out Sean Waltman and shout out Sean Waltman's dog.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see both next week on Raw. And then Ruka goes for a moonsault. Amari moves, so Ruka lands on her feet, does another backwards roll onto her feet into a drop kick for a 2 count. There's then a straight jacket hold from Amari, and then a like flipping leg drop from Ruka, like a front flip into the leg drop for the win. Lots of handstands and flips and stuff from Ruka. Quite innovative stuff, some of it. I thought not a bad showing from her.
Yeah, I mean, this was her debut match here on NXT, and kind of showcasing that she definitely has an athletic background, clearly doing a lot of this kind of impressive stuff. The gimmick is she's a surfer. They didn't go too over the top. I will say, like, the vignettes have been like pretty silly with the stuff. And kind of as we suggested, she came out to like the Pulp Fiction theme, but like ripped off essentially. She's wearing almost like like a Baywatch kind of gear, you would kind of say. I don't know, like white thing. But with the first showing, not bad at all. And I do think eventually, like, she's got a look and can do the athletic stuff in wrestling. Then, like,
yeah, and we've seen like with people like Gacy, who I think back to that Mae Young Classic where Gacy could Catanzaro, Katana Chance could do some quite like acrobatic, like, innovative stuff, and then it's a matter, all right, now kind of learn how to wrestle a bit more and put it together, and you'll be quite a unique talent. So I do see potential with Sol Ruka.
I'm also like go more into like come out with the surfboard, you know, like what else could you do?
The music wasn't surfy enough.
It was
it was all right.
It had the wipe out, didn't it have? I don't know, maybe I'm just blanking that. I don't know. I could have been more. I just want the Point Break gimmick. Like, that's what I want. Eventually, we're gonna get to that.
So
when she turns heel, she'll be Point Break.
We see backstage again where the security crew, led by Hank, are trying to separate Gallus, and Gallus actually knock a security guy out.
Hank was pissed.
And Hank was fucking mad.
Well, he didn't do anything about it, really. They just said, "Get in that room."
He's got a contract now, doesn't he?
Yeah, true. Oh, he's not security anymore. Well, he was there, though, I thought.
He was. It was taped, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And this leads us to our next match. Cameron Grimes taking on Joe Gacy. Gacy's beating up Grimes on the outside. Grimes comes back with a drop kick to the side of the head, sending Gacy to the outside. And he goes for his follow-up with the PK off the apron. But the Dyad get in the way. So Grimes hits a senton anyway, taking out the Dyad. And then comes in with a super kick to Gacy, and then Grimes goes for the cave-in, but Rip Fowler gets on the apron, so Grimes takes him out, but the distraction allows Gacy to hit the upside down, the handspring lariat for the win.
The upside down. Joe Gacy wishes he was Vecna, but he is not. I didn't really care for this match. It didn't have any of the heat. I know this story has been going on for a while now, and I just don't care about it. Grimes is definitely above this. I don't even want to knock Gacy because I do feel like he is actually a pretty decent wrestler as well. But the whole character, the whole story, the whole angle, whatever it is, it's poop. Get rid of it.
Yeah, for something that's been built up for so long, and this was the match we got from it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the way it finished, it makes you think they're gonna do it again.
And I just don't.
I imagine Halloween Havoc. Maybe this is the one with a gimmick.
Spin the wheel, make the wheel.
it needs to end. Like, October 22nd, we got to wait to get this done.
Don't care.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, considering this is the first time they've actually had the match, it was dull. And it made Grimes uninteresting.
Like, look,
and he's such a fun,
likable
performer
character.
to watch.
Yeah. Why are we making him depressed and sad and tormented and emotionally? It's so weird. And GYV. I mean, we've sung their praises a long time. We like them as wrestlers, and we thought their gimmick before could have got them over. And instead, here they are doing this, and like, bless them. Hey, they're making a living. They're on TV, but this is funny, and you can't tell me all the other NXT UK talent are not sending them memes of these guys being their own friends, because we do that to each other and we're not on TV, and these guys look like these guys on TV. They would be fodder for
you can imagine like when
chats.
Pete Dunne moved up, like Zach Gibson sending Pete a
Look
text
Butch.
like Butch, what the fuck, mate, woof woof woof, something like that. And then Dunn's like, and what, mate?
Yeah.
Like, just a picture of Voldemort or something. Like, all right, okay.
Fair play.
I'm getting that main roster money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like I want to support these guys. I do like GYV, but this is just wrong and needs to go away. But it's not, so we'll have to watch more of it.
We go to Grayson Waller, who's being interviewed by Mackenzie Mitchell.
This is when we realize he did see the vision.
So he's saying Apollo is not Nostradamus. He lists off other like psychics that Apollo is not. And he said he's like mad because he saw his eyes were red in the vision. And Mackenzie's like, hey, Waller, maybe just stay home. Just stay home.
Best advice she's given to anyone. I wish he listened.
Just stay home. And he's like, nah, you'd like that, wouldn't you, Mackenzie? No. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get extra security. So Waller's going to... And he mentions that next week he's going to be hosting the Grayson Waller Effect with Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez.
So he literally is Miz 2.0 because they use his show to further the stories of other storylines.
Yeah, and yesterday Miz came in with his extra security, the Miz Force.
So is his extra security, maybe he's
you know what his security are called? The Grayson Waller Effect.
just the show Grayson Waller Effect. Security Grayson. Well,
What's your move? The Grayson Waller Effect.
Sanga used to be his security guard. And the streets are telling me Veer's looking for a new job. So maybe Veer and Sanga get back together and be...
on house shows or stuff, they've been teaming, Veer and Sanga.
So like
apparently that's disappointing.
They used to be though. Remember they were the team.
They were, yeah. But apparently recently they've been teaming up again, which is disappointing.
Sanga's way above.
Sanga.
Yes.
Like listen to our year in review. Like all four of us were high on Sanga.
Like Veer kept telling people he was coming.
Yeah.
And we all know that one guy who tells everybody he's coming, but he ain't really coming.
No,
we know Sanga's really coming.
Oh,
Sanga's
100%.
the one. You know what I'm saying? Sanga's the one, but Veer ain't. So
if you got BDE, you don't need to tell.
Yeah. That is unfortunate because Sanga's been on a little bit of a fun run, but yeah, Grayson Waller getting security
next week for this Roxanne and Cora interview.
Yeah.
Go to our next match: Nikita Lyons taking on Caden Carter. This is coming about because kind of Nikita and Zoe are wanting to go after the tag titles, so got a bit of a singles match here. It starts with Caden smacking Nikita's bum. So
great way to start a match.
So Nikita wiggles her bum.
We have a twerk off.
We then, Caden takes down Nikita and twerks. Lots of bum in this match, guys. I'm calling
you said it.
I'm calling it as I see
it.
Spade
is spade. Don't hold it against us.
Yeah.
Spade is spade. But this was the bum match
because the bum match.
They're slapping each other's asses. They're twerking.
Yeah.
And you got to do the work to get the twerk.
Yeah.
And twerk it. Twerk.
Caden then slips under Nikita's legs and Nikita just kicks her in the head for a 2. Nikita comes back with these kicks and strikes. There's the spinning back kick from Nikita, which looked a little weaker than usual, I thought. Caden goes for a roll-up, but Lyons just stamps on Caden's chest. There's then a head scissor takedown from Lyons, followed by a nice-looking Michinoku driver.
Oh,
really
best thing she's done. Yeah,
100%.
this was awesome. Yeah, Nikita definitely. That's also a move that looks great. And also, if you do it, wrestling fans will be like, that's... Everyone loves a Michinoku driver, and she did a really, really nice one here.
I agree. Only a 2 count. There's then Caden gets Caden gets, Nikita in the ropes and does this running, like, boot to the face. It reminded me of Saray's drop kick in the ropes. Looked really good, actually. Like, she ate this thing. And then Carter goes up to the top, but Nikita knocks her off and finishes her with her, like, spinning kick, followed by the split-legged leg drop.
Butt drop.
Yeah. To pick up the win.
The kick really looked good at the end, like right to the face. I'd say a pretty good showing from Nikita here, actually. Like a big step up. You know, the team with... so this is all around the fact that Carter is tag team champs with Katana, and Zoe and Nikita are going to be gunning for those titles. So the singles match, and now getting the victory over the single star, easily goes towards that match. But I thought she looked really good in this, especially that Michinoku driver. And Carter, we like Carter. She's more the, like, pretty well-rounded, I'd say.
She's got some really good strikes. She's got a bit of, like, flashy sort of...
a bit of aggression in it, which that's what I mean. Like, she's got a bit. She's not just. I'm not. But
she does some flashy, like,
a little
stuff
bit of
that you don't normally
yeah.
see. I really like Caden Carter a lot, and what I want with this tag run with Caden and Gacy, because I've been high on them as a team, like in ring for a while. I want to see good teams for them to go against, and I think Zoe Starks is good for that. I think she'll have good matches with them. And Nikita didn't look bad here at all. Just would like there to be more teams. Like, I don't want to see Gigi and JC, who I do think are weaker and aren't going to bring the best out of these two. I want to see some decent women's tag action. But I wouldn't mind seeing Caden with a singles run down the line as well, because I do think she's quite polished now, actually.
Yeah, I think so too. I think being kind of pigeonholed in this team may have, like, been a detriment to her, because she is someone who got better and better and better. But same with Nikita. I thought she looked good.
We go to a Chase U pep rally.
Chase U. This was also a step up on the production, because they looked like they were actually at a rally.
It wasn't just uni rally.
It wasn't just in a room with two people. No. Like this. The
outside, a bit of a podium.
The smoke and mirrors here worked really well, I thought, comparing to some of the older ones.
I will say, on today's show, I thought the most entertaining stuff were, like, the video packages and the promos over the in-ring stuff. So Andre Chase, he's on the podium for his rally, and he says, because of the victory over Trick and Mello, where I pinned Carmelo Hayes, I've earned a spot at a qualifying match next week against Von Wagner. I'm going to beat Von and go on to Halloween Havoc. We'll now open it up to the press.
So we go to our first journalist here in the press, and he goes, "What's your name?"
Dave.
He goes, "All right, Dave.
How do you feel seeing?" And Dave says, "How do you feel about going against Von, seeing that he's already beaten you before?" And
Andre Chase goes, "Well, Dave, who the fuck did you ever beat, Dave? That's a real 5-star question there, Dave." Clearly, a little bit of a Dave Meltzer joke there, I think.
They completely run him down and say, now that's a teachable moment. I would bet money on Bruce Pritchard producing this segment. If you've listened to Bruce's show, whenever, like, Conrad is like, in the Observer and this, he's always like, well, when the fuck did Dave Meltzer ever book a wrestling show? When did Dave ever wrestle a match? When did Dave ever do this? And it's actually, for as long as Meltzer's been doing stuff, like AEW, we hear mentions of, obviously, the Bucks, their move is the Meltzer driver and stuff. You never hear any mention of star ratings or anything like that on WWE.
But that was a 5-star question there, Dave.
Very pointed, and especially coming off the back of a very famous press conference. I thought this was quite funny.
I thought it was pretty funny too, and it instantly makes me think that he should finally beat Von Wagner, and he should go on to beat North American champion.
This guy's completely won me over. I'm still like, I'd like you to get ring gear, but you look in that. I don't know how many are plants, but there are a lot of Chase U shirts.
They're always plants,
there are always plants, but there's more, not just that little corner where Chase U are up in the CWC. A lot of people have the Chase U shirt and genuinely get into his matches, and I think recently he's had a couple of actually his match against it was Mello and his match against Fabian Eichner, Giovanni Vinci. I thought were pretty good. I'd so take him in this ladder match over Von Wagner.
I don't know. Von's my guy. You know, it's Von Wagner's world. We're just living in it. But
I wonder. About a
Chase
year
to
ago,
win.
we were watching this show, and whenever any of our indie darlings lost a match, we were like, pour one out. I'm wondering if the shoe's going to be on the other foot now, and Andre Chase will beat Von Wagner, and maybe we. I don't know.
Don't talk like that.
I don't know where a Von Wagner fits into Triple
Don't
H's
say that.
WWE.
No. He'll fit fine.
I don't know
Future
where a
WWE
Zion
champion.
Quinn fits into Triple H's WWE.
Definitely agree on that.
I don't
one.
know where a Lash Legend fits into
Agree on that
Triple
one, too.
H's WWE.
Interesting.
But
I thought.
I don't know. I don't want anyone to lose a job.
No.
But, like, it's... I don't know. If we're getting changes, like, maybe we'll see some changes.
I did like this segment. I thought it was pretty funny, and it does kind of make it way more interesting if he is in that ladder match now.
Yeah,
So,
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm totally down for him in that.
Yeah.
We have a video package for Nathan Fraser, and it's he's in a NXT UK football jersey.
Yeah, this clearly was old
soccer jersey. Yeah,
when he was in NXT UK. Yeah.
and he says he's talking about his best 2 out of 3 matches against
Axiom,
and says it's not the first time I've been tied. When I played soccer, I'd always be the one to get us ahead. So obviously, like tied games, he'd always come.
Well, obviously he's a fake Brit because he called it soccer.
Yeah, it's to dumb it down for.
That's what it's because it's really. You know what? It's because that's what it's really called.
I find it difficult because I know I have to clarify. I go football, soccer. Like it's just easier.
I will say football makes sense because it is with your foot.
Yeah.
When like not even a big part of the game in NFL.
Well, apparently it's football in NFL because it's a foot long.
Got you. A football.
Foot long ball.
Right.
There we go.
Foot long ball.
Foot long ball.
Nice.
And yeah, it's showing all this footage from him playing like shitty Sunday league football.
Beer
as
league.
a kid.
No, he's fast though.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah.
And it shows him hitting like this 30-yard belter of a goal.
Nice.
That took them to lead. So he's basically saying wrestling's like football, and he'll clinch the match at the end.
Yeah, I wasn't really catching what he was trying to make mention of the whole like comparing it to soccer, and I'm like, okay, well you're gonna wrestle a
He won the first match, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's been ahead before.
Yeah.
It's been tied up.
Yeah.
He'll always get the winner.
So that's next week,
That's next week.
and the winner gets to be in the ladder match.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. You picture both of these guys in the ladder match. Would be great.
So we've got Oro Mensah, Carmelo Hayes, Wes Lee, and either Andre or Von or Nathan or Axiom.
Yeah, which makes you believe maybe Vaughn would be in it because he could like be the big guy to throw people around.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't. Andre Chase for real.
Yeah. I didn't mind this.
Yeah.
I didn't. I feel he could be clearer when he's speaking as well. I feel he like mumbles a bit when he talks.
Right.
And
They should put him in a mask.
but no, that's coming from someone who is British and can understand the accent pretty easily.
Sure.
But I don't find him particularly clear if he's talking.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's nerves or just. I think he could just do with more promo classes to be louder and clearer.
Yeah, I do like him. He has a likable factor
Yep.
for sure, and he's awesome in the ring. I'm actually really looking forward to that match next week.
We go to our next match: Zion Quinn taking Ilia Draganov. There's some headlock takedowns by Ilia, and then Zion comes in with a big chop, but Ilia just matches him. And for a smaller guy, his chops are just as deadly.
What's this guy's name again?
Zion.
Zion Quinn dresses like he's a UFC fighter, and he's out getting slapped the fuck up by Draganov, who's like half his size. It's really funny visual, like the poser versus the
I
guy
can
who's
imagine
a
Draganov
killer.
being good at that kind of slap fighting thing.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Quinn does his like cross arm thing.
Yeah.
Like it's normally when the guy is running the ropes and he does the cross arm. The thing is here, Ilia was pretty close to the rope, so didn't have any momentum running, and it just looked a little hokey here.
Yeah, it always does because
It always does. This looked way more hokey
Yeah.
because Ilia was hardly running. Quinn goes for like the money clip, but Ilia gets out of it and slaps him across the chest. Zion comes back with some strikes of his own. There's a big boot from Ilia, and then does his, I can't remember what he calls this move, but it's like the 619 in the ropes into the
torpedo,
into
or
the lariat.
Yeah, something like that.
There's then some knee strikes and palm strikes into a suplex roll through. This was awesome. So Ilia's hitting these knee strikes and palms, does a suplex, kind of holds on and rolls over and just comes down with this dirty, like, KO forearm
this is the finish.
To the face.
This is
just killed him.
Yeah, this is easily a finisher. I mean, he then picks him up and then hits the
This
running
is UFC.
headbutt.
You hit this move and the guy comes in, pulls you apart, and waves it off.
Yeah,
like,
this was over. He straight up murders him here with this forearm. This is like the Hidden Blade, Osprey-esque. Like the one strike that definitely is it's over.
but yeah,
for
just
then
go
good,
and watch this end here.
Yeah. I'm kind of cheesed that this was the first match we get with this guy because it's fucking Zion Quinn, but we needed someone to get dummied around by Draganov to show he is a killer, and that forearm was nasty. And then he hits that running headbutt.
He then finishes with the Torpedo Moscow, his running headbutt for the 1-2-3.
Yeah.
I kind of get why it was Zion. He's expendable. He's a bigger guy. It shows how... I actually thought that strike was perfect because it's, just one thing like that and he can take a guy of any size down.
Yeah.
And I thought for an Ilia Draganov match, obviously on the lower end, for a Zion Quinn match,
best
on
one
the
he's
higher
ever
end.
had. Yeah, best one he's ever had.
I didn't mind it. I thought it did its job of making Ilia look like a killer.
And they did that. Yeah, they did. Again, he's instantly an attraction now that I'm so happy. Is he going to stay on this show? Is he going to keep wrestling here? Like, this is a guy that... you could have. I don't think he could have a bad match.
No.
And in Triple H's WWE, I think there's a slot for this guy because I think Triple H and Shawn are pretty high on him. And again, there's so many things you could do with him on the main roster. I mean, a dream match would be him and Danielson. Obviously, it just sounds crazy. Kota Ibushi versus Draganov.
Yeah.
But going back to the main roster, like we mentioned, Gunther, Sheamus. Like, there's so many different people. You think about your Seths, your Riddles. You know, there's so many open avenues down that way that I'm actually excited for because so far with the Gunther stuff, they're treating him pretty well. So I would imagine they treat this guy pretty well too. And this was a way to show us he's a killer, and they did that with that finish. Loved it.
We then go to the whimsical Wendy Chu.
Whimsical. She's so whimsical.
She's saying, this is a pre-tape video package here. When I hear Lash Legends speak, it's like hearing nails on a chalkboard, and we get the visual of nails on a chalkboard. And she says, and I'm not letting her interrupt my interview. It cuts to Lash Legends saying that she doesn't care what she wears or that she carries a pillow around with her. If you're in my way, I will boot you in the face. And says you can be Doja Cat, Beyonce, Lizzo, just get out of my way. And when you piss me off, I kick your head off your shoulders. Wendy says that Lash is just loud and obnoxious, and she may not have the natural ability like Lash, but someone with the natural ability of Lash, it's hard to be humble. And after next week, you're going to hear this. And the music stops. She goes, yes, absolutely nothing. I'm going to shut up the biggest mouth in NXT. I'm going to put her to bed. And then both at the same time go, okay.
Yeah.
Hate this feud.
Yeah, I hate this, man. Wendy Chu is good, but this adult child character is just not really hitting for me anymore. I think we need to go back to Mei Ying.
Something.
The demon thing again? Anything. It's just not.
Wendy Ying. Just get something in the middle.
What was it?
Mei Chu. Something like just a hybrid of both. Yeah.
Wow. The sleepy demon.
Yeah. They wake her up from the chair.
She's saying here, like, Lash Legend's voice is like nails on a chalkboard. I'm like, that's how I feel about this whole feud when both of you are like feuding, and I feel like this feud's just kind of started already. So not too good.
Yeah. We go to a match that I was quite looking forward to. The Diamond Mine crumbling here. It's Brutus Creed taking on Damon Kemp. And Brutus goes after Kemp right away during his entrance. And then they're in the ring. There's a takedown from Brutus followed by a gut-wrench suplex. Kemp then locks in this cravat. I thought this was really impressive. He's got this cravat in tight. And Brutus back suplexes Kemp out of it. But Kemp just holds on and still has it locked on. And everything Brutus is doing, Kemp just won't let go. I thought as far as quote-unquote rest holds go, I was actually quite kind of captivated in this, just the struggle both guys were doing. Kemp then pulls the straps down and mocks the like knuckle walk that the Creeds do. This gets and then Kemp just gets out of the ring, gets a steel chair, and just starts beating the shit out of Brutus, causing the DQ.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I really enjoyed the beginning of this match. I kind of do want to see it ran back and being like a bit fuller.
Yeah, the wrestling for a little bit there just teases of that they are both really talented mat wrestlers, and you just got a little glimpse of it before Kemp getting the heat back, brother, by using the chair and beating the shit out of him. And no Julius didn't come out, so like he was watching and couldn't make it. What happened?
That was weird, because we did see the refs running down, but no Julius.
And he was there backstage before the match, so it's just weird.
Maybe that'll...
Diamond Mine is falling apart.
Yeah, maybe that'll be addressed next week.
I imagine we get Damon Kemp. I now think that he didn't really attack Roddy. I think Roddy was faking it or something, because Kemp needs a partner to face these guys at Halloween Havoc, and he doesn't have that. So what is he getting, his brother? I don't know about that. So maybe he's getting Roddy back.
Yeah, maybe.
So
it's...
This guy's just really set on fucking with them. His promos and his whole thing here in the past while, and this, I don't care about being in NXT. I don't care about being a champion. I don't care about being a great wrestler. I just really don't want you guys to succeed.
Yeah.
It's a really odd character development here, where it's like, why can't you just say, I'm fucking better than you guys. I never needed you. Leave me alone. And it's them trying to get their revenge. But yeah, weird.
That aside, I want to see these guys tie it up more.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see
Kemp and Julius
go at it.
Do you go that just singles match at the pay-per-view, or maybe?
I think you're right. He does need a partner of some sort. Don't know.
Yeah.
We then see Sanger, who's looking rather deflated. Sanger's normally the happy, positive guy.
Yeah.
He's looking sad, and Quincy Elliott's with him, and Quincy goes, "Hey, Sanger, what's wrong?" Sanger says, "Well, last week you had a great showing, but I lost against Von Wagner." Quincy said, "Well, there's plenty of Quincy love to go around, and you can just be better next time." And Sanger's like, "Yeah, you're right, I can. Thanks, Quincy." Gets up and leaves. As Zion Quinn walks past, and Quincy goes, "Hey, Zion, I took your advice and watched your match last week, and that X Factor you talked about, I didn't see it."
Oh, he means the match tonight, earlier.
Yeah.
I watched it. Didn't see that X Factor. What a burn.
Yeah.
And walks off, and Zion's pissed.
Yeah.
So
I quite like this line. I thought this was the best Quincy's come across to me.
Yeah,
he was pretty good here.
He got him pretty good. And anyone keeping score on the Quincy T-shirt of the week, he was in a Whitney Houston T-shirt. So. You just woke up Dickie, I think.
No, he's KO'd.
Out like
he's
a
KO'd.
light.
White Rabbit, baby.
And then this is when they announced next week we're getting the last of the match between Axiom and Nathan Fraser. We're also getting the State of the Commonwealth address
by
Pretty Deadly.
They're finally going to address the passing of
the Queen?
Queen Lizzie, are they?
Because one of them's name is Elton Prince, so he could say, "I am the rightful prince." But
oh boy, no, I'm just thinking he should do his own Candle in the Wind,
like sing.
Well, Elton John did Candle in the Wind for Marilyn Monroe, and then did it for Princess Diana.
Right.
Elton Prince needs to do his own Candle in the Wind.
Jeez, I want
or save that for when they lose the titles.
Right. Oh,
you could do it for the tag titles.
You could do like, are they gonna sit down? Is it gonna be in the ring? It sounds like it's in the ring.
I don't know. I can't wait.
Yeah, it does.
If tonight was anything to go by.
Are they gonna sit around and talk about the prince and the queen and all this stuff? Like, I'm kind of for it actually, because these guys are hilarious. But yeah.
And we then go backstage where Dan Mather's interviewing Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark.
He's not even there anymore.
I don't know. I couldn't really hear him, so I assumed it was Dan Mather.
I was like,
it's always Dan Mather to me. If I can't see him, like Mackenzie Mitchell, we see her face.
Did we ever pour one out for Dan Mather?
He did. Did he leave?
I'll figure this out.
I don't remember seeing a release.
I don't even remember this part of the show. So,
well, Dan Mather congratulates Nikita Lyons on her win, and Nikita says, "Yeah, that was a big win for me, but we're going for the tag titles." And Toxic Attraction step in and say, "You're going nowhere near the toxic tag titles. And Zoe Stark steps in and she's like, hey, they're not even your titles. Mandy tells them to shut their mouth. And Zoe's like, she goes, there's 3 of us and 2 of you. And then out of nowhere, Alba Fire sets more fire.
Oh, I remember this. Lots
Setting
of
this,
fire.
yeah. She's like Batman in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
You know, how she's just, it's like, oh, we're in a race against time against this nuclear bomb. Better just draw a giant bat on a bridge and set it on fire.
Gas, and light it on fire.
This is all Alba Fire's doing backstage. This wouldn't have happened in William Regal's NXT.
No fire.
William Regal and Samoa Joe wouldn't have let Alba Fire set fire to the car park and everything.
Yeah, at least we finally got more fire that's not on the end of her fucking bat, so...
So we're going to get this 6-woman tag sometime before Halloween Havoc, I imagine.
Yeah. Just to let you know, Dan Matha was released in 2020.
What?
So we definitely
2020.
We talked about it. It was during the pandemic. We
now.
definitely. I'm pretty sure we did. So
he lasted that long.
I don't know. I'm learning a lot.
The last
about
match
Dan
I
Matha.
remember was when Samoa Joe killed him,
That was his debut.
which was his debut back in like 2017.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Damn.
He was an NFL player or something.
Ah, good for him.
Something like that.
We go to our main event of the evening. It's a pub rules match between Briggs and Jensen against Gallus. I was expecting kind of like the Sheamus Jeff Hardy thing. Like this was a pre-taped show. I thought you could have actually had this in a pub.
So you wanted a pub fight. Yeah.
I wanted it
was
over what we got here.
Yeah, I was a little pissed
I
that
thought
we
they
didn't
could have
get
done
that.
something fun here.
Yeah, this was just a normal match with like some weapons in the ring.
It was some trash cans and some steel chairs.
Why call it a pub fight if it's not in the pub?
There was nothing pubby apart from these beer glasses you get. Like snooker, like pool cues, you know? Darts.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't get we joked about that last week actually when they were teasing this because Gallus were hanging out like APA last week.
I honestly thought that's what we were getting.
And instead it's just like, no, none of that. We'll just have a no DQ match.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then why are we calling it the pub match? Really shameful. This isn't a pub fight, but it's also Gallus. So.
Yeah, this...
that instantly made me upset.
I'm sorry. I can't... I feel bad, but Wolfgang looked like absolute shit here. More so than when he's in his singlet.
Okay,
he was in this like bright teal, turquoise shirt. Like, this ain't your color, babes. Like, it, like
they were all wearing that shirt.
Oh, this shirt.
It was so
suits
bad.
None of them.
Yeah,
he's got
color
it
was
tucked
bad.
into his jeans. Like, this guy. This looked like, you know, when you get a non-wrestler in a comedy match. That's what Wolfgang looked like to me.
It was really
weird.
Like it's like teal, baby teal, green, blue, like really weird looking polo shirt thing or t-shirt thing. It was just weird.
And I'm sorry, I know at the end of the day it's the wrestling, but there is it's TV. There is a certain aesthetic you want. Like Kevin Owens, not the greatest body. He works it. It looks right when he like this guy in this baby green. T-shirt, like, oh boy, looked awful.
All of them wearing it, but especially it's just like
Briggs and Jensen look fine in their jeans and flannel. And
Jensen was wearing a throwback shirt. I can't remember.
Jensen has good shirts.
Yeah, he does. This was already a letdown just because you said it was a pub brawl and it literally wasn't. So that definitely instantly took me out of it, and I didn't really care. There was some cool stuff in it, but honestly, a huge letdown. Don't know why I even allowed myself to somewhat mildly get excited for a pub fight, but
being the main event as well, I thought like
it's pre-taped. You could have taped it in the bar.
That's what I mean. This was the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, really let us down there, guys.
Yeah. Gallus set up a table. There's trash can lids to the head. Wolfgang. This bit was kind of so. Is it Mark Coffey has his knees against like the back of Briggs. Jensen. And he's holding the arms as Wolfgang just puts a chair on his face and just knees it into his face.
That was all right.
That looked kind of good. Gallus then pulls out the belts from Briggs and Jensen.
Yeah, so they get out their straps.
And they just start whipping them.
Get the strap.
They get the crowd to be silent so you can hear these whips.
Oh, is that why the crowd was silent? Just because it's a Gallus match.
Yeah.
So.
Briggs and Jensen are on the outside and go to do their like high five with their forearms, but they stop because they see something. The only thing in the bar, one bar table with beer glasses on it.
No beer in it.
No beer in it.
Empty glasses.
So they pick up the beer glasses, smash it over Gallus' head.
Shades of JR's candy
against
jar.
Taz. Yeah, great callback there. You know I like that match. Joe Coffey gets on the apron but gets kicked off through a table. Wolfgang gets hip tossed through a table, and then there's the trash can on the head of, was it Mark here? And they do the high-low clothesline leg sweep here, and Briggs and Jensen win in a very, very lackluster plunder match here.
Yeah, look, if you've listened to us, we're always honest. Briggs and Jensen were really ironically just bad when they showed up in NXT, but they've definitely become a bit of a staple here over this year of 2.0, and they've definitely come into their own. They're kind of, you're believing the gimmick a bit more. Their matches make sense. Hell, they were champions, and even this was like, okay, great. They're gonna have a pub style fight. It wasn't that. We'll get over that. It was just a no DQ match essentially, but Gallus definitely brought it down. It didn't even deliver to like the fun aspect of what you did. They just went, oh, there's these cups over here. We're just gonna break over your head. It just felt so lazy.
When you've done these like what trick or street fights or these Thanksgiving things, you've normally got a bunch of gimmicky stuff. You'll get like a pumpkin on the head, a turkey on the head, like some stuff that makes it like, all right, I see what you're doing.
I wasn't expecting darts to the head or,
but like snooker cue or something, like
exactly,
snooker cue, something. There was one deuce, like 1 2 tops with some empty beer glass.
It was real shit, to be honest. Briggs and Jensen kind of deserve a bit better. They win the match at least, so that's fucking cool. At least they get to kind of advance here.
And I guess a big win against, like, even though we shit on Gallus, they were a long time like NXT UK tag champs.
After the match, it looks like they're doing some sort of angle where the police come in and arrest Gallus because they attack a referee. The referee are pulling them off. Yeah. And they're all brawling with the security. And then the cops show up and like are arresting Gallus. And that's kind of how we go off.
So maybe
your matches are shit, mate. You're locked up.
I'm seeing maybe 6-man with Hank and Briggs and Jensen against Gallus.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that makes sense. Hank joins them.
And if Hank and Briggs and Jensen win, Gallus barred.
Barred? Yeah, they don't do too well in bars, as we saw in this match.
Exactly.
It wasn't even in a fucking bar. But sorry I get mad that it's not in a pub, but why call it that?
No. Justifiably so.
This episode was a stinker, to be honest. A taped show. If we're getting the new NXT next week, then cool. By all for it. Was there some fun, entertaining stuff in the show? Hell yeah, there was. Particularly some of the vignette stuff.
Which will be easy to find on YouTube.
Yeah,
so go and watch them.
Yeah,
guys.
A lot of the wrestling did not hit on this show whatsoever. But this show didn't necessarily piss me off, but it did more so than the past few weeks of NXT. But it felt like a real just show that this week doesn't count. This week doesn't care. Nothing matters on this week is definitely the vibe that I got from this one. But
which, if that is the case, bring on next week.
Yeah,
looking forward to.
Yeah, if we have some changes, cool.
Some poppy, some skulls, some black and gold. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, if that's the route we're going, then sure. But there wasn't anything really other than the Pretty Deadly vignette that I'd say like check out essentially. But NXT will come back from the dead next week officially, so it'll be all right.
Yeah, well, that's what we thought. Do we have any feedback? We do.
Go for it.
Shall I start with Sean, who says, Steiner Math was the highlight. Evil Damon Kemp is great. Chase U, always good for some entertainment, but the rest of the show was either boring or bad. My hopes that the change in logo would somehow lead to change in direction are rapidly fading. Not much to look forward to next week except Axiom versus Fraser 3. We now live in a world where Raw looks more like NXT than NXT. Welcome back, Candice. Yeah, part of me is like, why didn't you just end this show with the Sean NXT logo changing?
Yeah.
And then next week, it's black and gold.
Yeah, you should have done it.
Like it's this weird 2-week hangover, like
film
purgatory.
Thing. Yeah, it's so stupid.
Limbo world we're living in.
Yeah, really weird. A bottle episode.
Yeah.
Just in its own little thing. And then Jordan writes in saying he loves your I Heart Maven t-shirt that you're wearing. If you're in the streams, you can see. So that's it. No one really cared about this.
Das ist
Look,
alles.
real sports are back, so wrestling fans might be watching.
Did Jays win again?
I think they lost because some guy on Twitter yesterday. We went to the game.
Oh,
yesterday.
lost 5-2. Did Judge?
No, they walked him.
Good.
One BJ is better than 9 Yanks.
Yeah.
Fuck the Yanks. I don't know why. I don't really care.
We don't
not
give
real.
a shit, guys. It's all right.
It's not real. It's not wrestling. Wrestling's real. People are fake. Thanks, guys, for listening to us talk about NXT. We'll be back tomorrow night chatting about some Dynamite on BD Elite. We'll be live after Dynamite, but of course, find the audio on this very feed wherever you found it. And of course, beginning of the month coming up with October 1st around the corner this weekend. So why not try the BDE? Patreon.com/upnext. $5 for North American tier. You get access to hundreds of podcasts, all accessible via the Patreon and through the RSS thing that goes into your podcast app. It's real simple, and you get all the podcasts that we do, including lots of spooky stuff that's coming up with spooky season in October. But thanks, guys, for listening and supporting us. We cannot do this without you. So go follow us at upNXT Podcast on Twitter. Join the Facebook page / Facebook group as well, upNXT Group. And I myself, Braden Herrington, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at the Brady.
And I am at Davie Portman.
That's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And we should probably go wake up Dickie, who's
Is he alive?
still asleep on our couch.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but back like I never left. Taking these things as it comes, you know me, I don't read ahead. Watch me burn down everything, BDE on the TV set. When I'm in control on the road, you can never really know what's up next.